Hi there and welcome to Planet Zoo. Today I'm taking a look at the brand new animals in the Planet Zoo Europe pack, and I've got them set up in shiny new enclosures that I've created for the Simple Habitat series. Now, if you're new here, the Simple Habitat series is a series of habitats I've created for every animal in the game, and they're just built so that they're very simple to use. You don't need any DLC, well, aside from if you're going to have the animal in there from a DLC pack, obviously. Anyway, I update the series every time there's a new DLC out because people do seem to like the Simple Habitat series, and I get asked a lot when a new pack comes out, have you done the habitats for it? So, kill two birds with one stone. This is the habitats that I've added to the series, and all being well, they should be available on the workshop not long after this video goes live. So, what exactly can you expect from the Europe DLC? First off, we have the Alpine Ibex, which are found in mountainous regions in Central Europe. That in mind, I've gone to town on the rockiness of the terrain here, and the Ibex are pretty good at handling this. That's allowed me to build this big shelter up here right at the back. The playability of the Ibex is kind of like all the other goat-type animals in the game. I would say they probably need a little bit more room than you would need, say, for the Dall sheep. They seem to have their enclosures don't need to be as big. But with the Ibex here, you can have them up into groups of, I think it's about 16 animals you can have in the same enclosure. Obviously, that's one male, and I think you can have 15 or 16 females, so a hefty number. Now, the coolest thing with the Ibex is the new behaviours that have been programmed around this little enrichment item here. I say little, this is probably the biggest enrichment item in the game. So the Ibex are actually programmed to interact with this rock formation, and they'll walk up and down it, which is really sweet to watch. About the only problem I've found so far, this being as big as it is, you kind of want it to blend into the surrounding landscape, say with the other rockwork like I've got back here. But because the enrichment rockwork can be a little temperamental with anything being in its way, you have to make sure it's got clearance at the front and the sides for them to get up it. It's okay at the back, but when I had this sort of merged into the rockwork at the back here a bit more, they weren't using it, and I figured out it was because it was too close to the other rockwork, so you kind of have to leave a bit of a gap for them to be able to interact with it properly. But in general, Ibex gets a thumbs up from me. It's a nice addition to the game. Next up is the Eurasian Lynx, and in real life, these are found all over Central Europe and Asia, and I believe they favour woodlands and forests, so lots of trees in this enclosure. These cats are a lot smaller than I thought they'd be, quite distinctive little animals, and I think Planet Zoo has done a really good job on this one. If anything, it does feel like these guys need an awful lot of room again, considering how small they are. But that being said, they are mostly tree animals. They like climbing a lot, and it is meant to be mimicking being in a woodland or a forest. And when you add the trees, that does take up a lot of the real estate. So maybe this is the right size for them, thinking of it in that way. Behaviours wise, there's a couple of new modular enrichment items, so the climbing log on here and the bridge. I love how the new enrichment items are starting to look a lot more natural like this. It's also this one's all modular, so you're able to build your own stuff as well. Build little tree havens for the lynx in the trees. One point to note with the lynx, like most of the big cats in the game, they are keen climbers and they can jump pretty far. So the enclosure I've got set here with the shelter at the back there, they were able to jump up onto the roof there and almost escaped before I'd put that protective mesh around the back. So just keep a watch out for that. Anyway, let's move on to my favourite animal in the pack, and that's the badger. These little guys are super adorable, and I think they're one of the cutest animals in the game. They're modelled really well, and it's really fun to watch them just go about their business all day. They are absolutely adorable. This has also been one of my favourite habitats to make in the game. It feels like a good size for the enclosure, not too big, not too small. And I had the idea to split this one into a couple of sections actually, to give it a better feel in that regard. As you can see here, the biggest feature of the new habitat is the burrow. This is a new enrichment you can use with the badger, as well as the aardvarks apparently, but I've not tried that one. Basically what you do is you just place this on the ground, and then if we go underground here, it actually functions as a place for them to sleep. So amazing. Whoever thought of this and put it into the game, they deserve a round of applause, really. I am half curious to see what happens if you remove the burrow whilst you've got badgers sleeping in here. But I fear my badgers will get trapped underground forever, so I've been too scared to try. Anyway, I have had a lot of fun building up the vegetation around the burrow. It's been a while since we've had a new game mechanic like this that has had me excited to build the actual habitat rather than just building a building or something. I was careful when I was building this up just to be mindful of the entrance in case it's anything like the behaviour I had with the rock formation. I would think that if you get stuff too close, then maybe they won't use it. Oh, and another thing with this one, you can set it up so that you have the security camera looking in the burrow underneath. And then you can link that to the education board outside, which again, super neat and makes this a lot more realistic. It was a little fiddly getting the security camera under there, but it went in eventually. And I do like the innovation with that one. Right, let's move on to the fourth animal, the fallow deer. Now, like the ibex, you can get a hefty number of deer in an enclosure together. And for the brief time I've been playing with these, they breed super quickly too, so it makes sense that there'd be a lot of them here. In real life, these deer are found in grasslands and woodlands too, I guess. The game is definitely wanting you to go down the grassland route though, because these deer don't need a lot of vegetation in the enclosure, so it is leaving this rather open, but I have managed to squeeze in some trees at the back here at least. The deer do need a lot of shelter space though, so I've gone with a sort of modular shelter solution here. That's two compartments that are almost completely closed off and the other one's open with the water pipes in the middle. The new enrichment item for the deer is this strange scarecrow thing. And although it does look quite interesting and it is animated, they have animated it really well. I'm not sure how well this fits in. I can imagine a goat maybe going for something like this more than a deer. But it's not like I've looked into it or anything, to be honest. I just personally don't think this is like anything a real zoo would add into a deer enclosure. Definitely not with like bits and parts that could come off or that they could swallow. Personally, I think this is a cool concept that someone's come up with. Not sure how it really fits into something like a deer enclosure though. But hey ho, that's just my opinion. Everything else fits in super well, and I'm so happy with the new enrichment items being so natural. So personally, I'm just really pleased with the new animals we've got. They all look so good. It feels like a lot of work's gone into the interactions, so it's more than just an animal running around a field. We've got all the interactive enrichment items now, and very unique and different than what we've seen before with the enrichment. Right, let's take a look at the new exhibit animal as well. And I've set one up here just at the side so we can take a look at that. I'll have to click on the box so I can find it. This one is really, really tiny. There you go, look at that. So small, but so cute. A nice little addition to the game, I will say. I don't really play with the small exhibits that much, so don't really have a lot to say about them, I guess. I'm more interested in the bigger animals that do stuff. Anyway, that's all new animals, and I hope you love them as much as I do. I honestly can't wait to add some of these into my actual zoos. I think those deer in particular are going to be very welcome in my European zoo. That's it from me today. So if you do like the look of the enclosures I've built here, these are available on the Steam Workshop as part of the Simple Habitat series. I'll drop a link to that in the description for you to find below. Thanks so much for watching. Bye for now.